Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show. Here we go again. It's going to be a long offseason. A long offseason here. Now, I love the content of it. Like, it's just, hey, it provides content here. So I'm glad that he goes on McAfee Show. He didn't get together with the media, goes on McAfee Show, and they just talk. And he talked about that he can win an MVP. I don't know if that's in Green Bay or not.
Do I still think I can play? Of course. Of course. Can I play at a high level? Yeah. The highest. I think I can win MVP again in the right situation. Right situation, is that Green Bay or is that somewhere else? I'm not sure. I think there's, more conversations to be had. I think no player wants to be part of any type of rebuild. I said that years ago. Reloads are a lot of fun because you feel like you're close. You're only a couple guys away. This game is about relationships. It's about the players you play with and count on, even if they don't maybe show up huge in the stat book. A guy like Mercedes Lewis, that's a guy I want to finish my career with. I want the Randall Cobbs of the world, if he wants to keep playing, in my locker room. Guys you can win with.
Okay. Now, I'm not doing the interview, but I would like to know, what is Green Bay missing? Are they a rebuild? Are they a reload? And explain to me the difference here right now. What do you need? Because it feels like the defense can be very good. Needs to be more consistent. Offensive line, I'd have some questions. You do like the wide receivers? And this is year 2 for them. And the running backs, it feels like it's there. But I would like to know what is not there in his mind, where he'd say, well, maybe I can win it someplace else. And plus, we don't factor in Aaron Rodgers' age because of Tom Brady. Rodgers is, 39? Nobody brings that up. They're like, yeah, so what? he just turned 39. It's not a big deal. Brady's 45, going to be 46.
Age is nothing but a number.
Yeah, well, but I would like to know, what role did you play in the lack of development with those wide receivers? Will you be at OTAs? Because I still believe, had he worked with them earlier, they would have been better sooner during the season. And there's no downside to that. Okay, it may have disrupted your summer or something, but they were waiting. They need to be led. You're one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I mean, let's hold off on ayahuasca, 2.0. Let's help them.
Or bring the wide receivers with you to Peru. Maybe he tries that. Let's all go to Peru on my dime.
Can he win an MVP? Sure.
Do I like to answer myself questions?
Ryan in North Carolina leads us off. Hi, Ryan. What's on your mind?
Hey, Dan. How we doing?
All righty.
So first, before I get into my statement about Aaron Rodgers, I want to agree with Marv. I have my, at-home sweatpants, and then I have, my nicer going to the store, going to Target sweatpants. So I definitely get that. But with Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people are saying that instead of saying he would keep winning another MVP, that he could win that he should have said he could win another Super Bowl. Does that fire burn for Rodgers anymore, that he even cares if he wins another Super Bowl? Obviously, you want to win every game you play, but is it the end of the world if Rodgers doesn't win a Super Bowl on his perspective?
Yes. Because you can't be called the most talented quarterback, however they phrase it with Aaron Rodgers, to ever play the game, and you have one Super Bowl. I would think that would be a disappointment if he didn't have another Super Bowl. And it moves you up the list. When you have two, it's different. You're in a different category there. And I would be surprised. Now, somebody might say, well, if you're going to win the MVP, then you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. Yeah. But keep this in mind with Aaron Rodgers. He's barely over 500 in the playoffs. He's 11-10. You make it because you've been in a bad division. You don't win clutch games at home as of late. Have home field advantage. You don't win. Winning an MVP, that's nice. But if you said you could win another if you said to Brett Favre, you want to hand back one of those MVPs, give you a Super Bowl, Hell yes. Peyton Manning? Hell yes. That's what quarterbacks are measured by. Yeah, Paulie.
And you're saying one Super Bowl, you think, oh, that's enough, but he had it when he was young. Peyton Manning would have been the most damaged by winning one Super Bowl. His last year in Denver, he was 7-2 as a starter. He had 9 touchdowns and 17 picks. He was well below average as a starter that year. But somehow they got a Super Bowl win, and it just washes that regular season away. He has 2. If he had 1, his career would be looked at like one of the greats of all time. How did it only happen with 1? Like the Braves pitching staff, it'd be looked at.
Yeah, Marv.
And to piggyback off of Paulie, Peyton and Rodgers are the same way in kind of this perspective. They lost a whole bunch of home playoff games with first-round buys. Like, they would be first weekend knockouts
And
more often.
And Peyton was, 14-13 in the postseason?
Yep, one above 500.
One above 500. Yeah, you got to have another Super Bowl. You just do. And granted, they won in spite of Peyton that year. He didn't play well. He couldn't throw. But they did win. They won with, Von Miller and a great defense. But, you look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does have talent around him if he wants to stay. I just don't know where he goes, hey, I want to go where I can win another Super Bowl or MVP. How many of those teams, is that Vegas? Does he feel better about Vegas than he does Green Bay? Because Vegas, you still have to go through Kansas City. The Chargers are still formidable. Denver has to get better. Do I think the Vikings are formidable? No. I think Detroit's on the way. Chicago's a few years away. And that's what you do. You stack up these wins. I mean, if Tampa Bay played in another division, they're not making the playoffs. But they played in a bad division. 8 wins and you're in. And you get to host a playoff game. But I was kind of surprised. It didn't sound like Aaron Rodgers has... Well, I'll be fair to him. It didn't sound like, hey, of course I'm going to be in Green Bay. It's like, I don't know. And with Aaron, you don't know. Are the Packers going? Can the Packers get out of Aaron Rodgers' contract and go with Jordan Love? What's the cap? Like all of those things that it's not just, hey, is he going to play? I'm not sure. He's not sure he wants to play here. He had this to say about returning to Green Bay.
It's just taking some time, pausing, letting kind of all the emotions kind of run through you, and then starting to see how it feels day after day and what's coming to mind. You missing it, not missing it, you excited about the next season, new challenge, whatever it might be, and then kind of lean into that feeling, and whatever feels right in your body is probably what it's going to be. I think it's got to be a full yes. It's got to be like, yes, 100% I'm in. And if it's not that, then you're out.
Okay. Got $59.5 million coming his way. That could help my decision an awful lot. Like, what else are you factoring in? I like my wide receivers, or you should. Like, do it one more year. Give it a shot. Retire a Green Bay Packer. And, all right, maybe Jordan Love takes over after that. Give it another go. If you want to play football, give it another go.